How do you know if you're ready to be an English teacher? Well, in this video, I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and if you answer yes to all of them, then I think you're ready to become an English language teacher. Coming up. Hi everyone, my name's Marcus and this is ELT Breakfast, the channel on YouTube to help English language teachers with their professional development and classroom ideas. But before we get to that stage, some of you may be asking, are you really cut out to become an English language teacher? Well, I've got 5 questions that I've asked many teachers in my time as an English language teacher and teacher trainer. Now these 5 questions are not the only questions, but they are the most important questions in my opinion. Let's get started. Do I enjoy the English language? Well, now there are many parts to this question. Essentially, we're talking about the language, the linguistic side of learning. Does the language genuinely interest you? Are you fascinated by learning about different pronunciations, different varieties of the English language, or where words have come from when they've entered the English language? If you are, then I think you've passed the first question. Question 2. Do I speak or do I know of or have I learned other languages? Now for this question you don't really have to answer yes, but it's highly recommended that you are in a position where you can understand what your students are going through. Not just that, but it helps to really understand what is manageable per lesson, how much information, how many words or vocabulary you can take in at one time. You can really only appreciate this if you've learned or can speak other languages. In addition to that, obviously you've got the comparison element as well. You can compare the translation or the meaning of one word with English and see how meaning is conveyed in different ways. It's not always through a direct translation. Question number 3. Can I communicate without words? Now what I mean here is, imagine that you are in a class with beginner learners. It can be quite frustrating to see that you're surrounded by people who don't speak the same language or can't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. So can you communicate what you mean through other means? Now this could be by gestures, expressions, finding appropriate images or other resources to convey the meaning that you are looking for. If you can do this, then I think you've passed this question. Just a little point before we move on to the next one though. Remember, if you are struggling to communicate, do try to remain patient at all times. Again, it's very important for language learners to see that you are calm and patient with them. If you're not, then it'll lead to frustration from both sides, for the teacher and for the learners. And if there is that negative learning environment, it's not going to help anybody, especially if you are on a long course for, let's say, 9 months. Question number 4. Am I resourceful or creative? Now this is important because your learners are going to expect from you different activities, different resources on different topics throughout their course. So it's going to be up to you to know where to find those or even how to make them. Apart from that, if you do have a course book and you have a group of students who aren't, let's say, that interested in the topics covered by the course book, you're going to have to find ways to present the language, the vocabulary, the grammar in a way that interests them. So you're going to need to know a little bit about them, but also the sources for your language lesson material and the activities in the book as well. They may be quite boring for the students, or they may need additional practice. So it's going to be up to you to make those. So being resourceful, being creative, basically means that you can think on your feet, you can think of some ideas very quickly, and you can make some material for a fantastic and interesting language lesson. And finally, question number 5. Are you able to multitask? Can you do many things at once? Now, what I mean here is in class, where if you have many students or even one-to-one, you're going to be involved in communication. You're going to be listening for mistakes or good uses of language. You're going to be maybe managing the discipline of the class. You're going to be fielding questions left and right as you're listening to other students doing their tasks. At the same time, you may also be preparing for the next activity on the board or getting materials ready from online. So you're going to have to be able to do many things at the same time. Obviously, this comes with practice. After some experience of language teaching, you're more familiar with where to find resources and how to juggle these tasks in a more effective way. So if you've answered yes to this question, then I think you've passed this question. If you have managed to answer yes to all 5 questions, then I think you are ready to become an English language teacher. In fact, not just English, it could be any language, but they do share those similarities. We'll be talking much more in future videos about the necessary requirements for jobs in ELT. So do please subscribe to the channel if you found this video useful. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.